Alright, working on these belt lines again. What I did was try to sand it pretty straight with the line. Then I put a piece of tape on it. This is about the third little coat. Basically, here's what we're doing. I've got quite a bit of fill to do on this one, so I just put a piece of tape on it, put mud on the bottom, and that's what I did on this one. The mud's on the bottom, and I'll let that dry a little bit, and I'll sand it from there down to try to keep from rounding that thing out. I basically will get a corner, hopefully, that's the difference between this angle and the angle that I have this way. So that's like 5 or 10 degrees. But that's what I'm going to do, is just keep building this bottom one up until it's straight. This will be the first coat I put on that one. You can see there's a lot of high spots there, so that whole top area has got to come up some. But this one I'm starting to be able to see the crease in it right now. And I looked at the other fender, and the crease goes all the way to the front. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. It's slow. I'm only using a little small board here. This is 80 grit. I'm just trying to get it basically where I want it, or 36 grit, not 80. I'm going to get it basically to where I want it, and then I'll use a board sander after that with 80 grit to polish it all out. But it takes a while to get a body line in. I mean, you could just cover the whole thing with Bondo and plenty of depth and then grind it all off, but even just with hand sanding, you see I got a lot of Bondo dust there. So I'm trying not to put on a gallon of Bondo and take 3/4 of a gallon off. So it's about time to sand that. I'll give it a go, and then we'll tape it and do the top. What I did here on the back, I just pulled the tape off, and I know that I've got some high spots. You can see where it's kind of dark there, and I mixed up a real thin mixture here, and I put a lot of hardener in it. You can see it's like a darker green, and while I'm still waiting for this to dry, and what was left over, I just covered my spots here on the top that I know are, I could see some low spots in it. But basically this should harden up pretty fast now, and I'll sand this bottom one, and that should develop my line, and then I'll tape it again so I can see exactly where I'm at, and I'll put another final coat on this top. I'm running out of Bondo and it's starting to get lumpy, so I'm gonna just try to get this to the rough shape I want, and for finishing it up in the final, I'm going to use new Bondo, so it goes on a lot better once you get down to the bottom of the can. This stuff's called Fantastic Lightweight Easy Sanding U-Poly. It's $20 a gallon or something. It's pretty cheap, and of course I'm still using this plastic honey. It's $20 for that pint there. but I don't know how much it'll do, several gallons of Bondo. But it works real good, and you can lay it on real smooth. It sure saves a lot of sanding. Alright, I hit that with a DA. You can see the bottom one there. See below the tape line. That's pretty good. I got a couple little low spots in it, but it's fairly straight. I knocked off that little bit I put on there to fill the top low spots. This one I just went over, and you can see I'm starting to get high spots there, so you can see that dark spot in there. That's all low. So I'll tape it again and fill it to the tape line, let it cure, and then I'll tape this one here on the top because it looks like it's the best, and fill the bottom. And this one I'll just have to fill this area right in here to bring it up to this bottom line. But I think one or two more coats here and I'll have this body line pretty much sorted out. Alright, here's the front. I've taped it on the bottom of the line. And I'm gonna fill the top. Looks like that's not quite straight. Anyway, good enough for Bondo. So I'm just gonna fill that dark spot there. And on this one I put it on the body line from the bottom, and you can see I got quite a bit in there to bring this up to a high that the top will meet. So this tape's not really doing anything. I mean, it's not forming anything, it's just telling me where I can put the Bondo on, and if I want I could pull the tape off while the Bondo's still wet and not get any slop into the other part. Well, as you can see, I put a pretty generous amount of fill here on top where it was low. On this one too, you can see that I got quite a bit of filler in there. Looks like somehow I got a lump in it. Probably shouldn't mess with it. Maybe I can, still kind of wet, maybe I can clean it up some. Not really. It's alright if I do. I'll just have a little low spot. Maybe I can take some of this off of the top. Yeah, that kind of fixed it. So anyway, I got plenty of Bondo here on the bottom, so I can sand it off and leave a fairly high edge right here. At this point I could just pull this tape off, and you can see that there's not very much, maybe a 1/16, but this will give me a good edge. I can basically just knock the highs off of that and then fill the top again, and I'd have basically the same thing as this. It's got one more coat, but I'm running out of Bondo, and it always gets lumpy down on the bottom, so it's good for filling big dents, but I don't really have any big dents. So I'll probably just clean up what I got here. Maybe I can get one more coat here on top, and then squirt it with a little bit of primer to protect it, clean up my mess. Here's a last little skim coat. This one here is pretty much done. You can see there's a real nice line in there. I just put just a little bit more of the filler that was left from here. But it's got a nice line. It's too sharp right now. But looks like I got a couple little low spots. It's really hard to tell like this. Once I put some primer on it, I'll be able to see it much better. So this is just about dry. All I'll do is sand this off and put some primer on it. Call this a day. Well, there we are. We're not done by any means, but you can see this one's starting to take shape. It's still real rough, and this one's good. I've got a nice crease right in here, and it looks like I need to build it up a little more right in there. This has all been DA'd with 40 grit, so it's rough, but it gives you an idea. So now I let this dry and knock it off again. I can see all my highs and lows, and I need to pull this out just a little more work on that one, and probably a couple more coats on this one, but it's starting to get a pretty good body line in it. The front one, it didn't have any, but now it looks like it's got something in it. So it's kind of slow and painstaking, but that's what we're going to do. And so I hope you guys have a good New Year's. I'm trying to, like I said, grow the channel. This is a different camera. It's recording MP4, so maybe my processing time will be less. But got this AMX here. It's coming along. Kind of hard to do this holding it with one hand. Anyway, I hope you like these videos, and if you do, like and subscribe and tell your friends. It'll help me, and maybe we can get to 1,000 subscribers, and I can do a little more interesting projects and things. So have a good New Year's. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.